Welcome in, friendos, to Leading Off on Fantasy Pros. I am Chris Welsh, and joining me today is all of the energy. It is going to hit you like a ton of bricks. He is Mr. Energy. Mr. Michael Govier is in the house, sitting in the co-host seat with me. What's up, Michael?
Welsh, how you doing, my friend? We cutting it close here this morning, but it's morning for you. We've hit noon on the East Coast, and I'm feeling good. I'm ready to rock. I want to talk baseball with you, and I don't think there's anything else I'd rather be doing right now. Maybe taking a nap, but I can always do that later because you come first.
I appreciate that. Yeah, in the chat, I said top of the morning to everybody, or as we would say on the West Coast, good afternoon, because it's 9 a.m. here. You guys over on your East Coast, you're having lunch and you're doing all that type of stuff. I don't want to touch any food. You guys are having all of that. Yeah, and as Govier was mentioning, cutting it a little short. It was about 20 seconds before Govier. But I believe you just moved. Did you move to the Canada, did I hear?
You know, you usually, those of you that know me, if you've never seen me before, howdy, how you doing? But those that have seen my show, the Palazzo Podcast, or seen me elsewhere, I always got top-notch backgrounds. I always make sure I got the green screen rolling with quality lighting because that's just what I do. But I am doing my very first show ever from the great country known as Canada. It's right. I'm in Canada right now.
Wow, you're from the Canada right now. Also, big news, if you guys don't follow Michael on Twitter, MJ Govier. Michael, it was just announced yesterday that is joining FTN. So he's got his own podcast, the Plaza Podcast, but also going to be over with FTN. So congratulations, my friend. I think you're going to be doing a bunch of football content. So the baseball people will boo and hiss at you here, but I don't know. You'll probably have some baseball content in there as well.
Baseball is very much a part of it. It is.
Okay.
That's like, I'm doing college football stuff as well, but baseball was the main thing. Our main man, Vlad Sedler, he really wants to grow the baseball product there, and we're all about baseball there. So that will definitely be a focus.
There you go. Well, Michael and I are going to go through all the motions with you as we've had a star-studded lineup the entire week of everybody from Mike Curlin to Nick Pollock to the debut of the Wonky Penguin. I hope you guys have been enjoying it. But let's get into baseball. We've got all the things under the sun. And number one, the Los Angeles Angels hit 7 solo home runs last night, 2 by Ohtani, and they lost 8-7. Magnificent. That's a piece of artwork right there. Mike, I have a couple notes here. These are both from Codify, and I found these fascinating. Shohei Ohtani became the first Angel ever to hit multiple home runs in 3 different games that the team lost in one season. Codify then doubled down. The most multi-homer games that resulted in losses in 2022, Shohei Ohtani is the leader with 3, as I just mentioned. There were 36 other batters that had 1. I don't know if you looked at the show. Have you looked at the show sheet yet?
I certainly have, yes.
All right, but then you know, because number 2 on that list, Kyle Schwarber. So Kyle Schwarber had 2 that multi-homers that resulted in losses, 36 others, Shohei Ohtani 3. That is a spectacle that I think is hard to defeat, and also brings up a question to me, Michael. We have spent so much time on this show throughout the season, me and Pia Pia, talking about Shohei Ohtani and the MVP odds. Do you think things like these are going to swing the pendulum back? You know, we had Judge, and then we had Ohtani come in like a fury, take over the lead. I'm actually going to go look. I haven't seen what the odds are, but do you think, I'm not sure where you stand on the MVP race in the AL in general, if it is Aaron Judge or Shohei Ohtani, but is this the type of stuff that you think that is going to make him fall off of this lead?
Boy, I thought Judge would tank second half. In fact, at Fantrax, we did these quick hitter, fun, clickbaity posts. Like, hey, who's the guy who's going to fall apart as an outfielder? Or who's the hitter you're fading in the second half? And I chose Aaron Judge as a hitter to fade just because he was so good that I couldn't believe he could continue that pace. Sometimes that's all it is to me. I just think when a player does something so poorly, they're not going to be as bad as they looked either. You know, I never believe it'll go for that long. But Judge continued to kick it in the second half. But what Ohtani's done is so legendary, and I've been sticking with Ohtani to win the MVP no matter what because he is 2-in-1. He is both sides of the Oreo cookie, you know, and you get the fun middle. You get all of it with Ohtani. It's so incredible that even my words and me getting louder and getting more passionate about it still will not tell you or allow me to express how incredible it is what Ohtani does as a pitcher who's dominant and a hitter who's dominant. It's amazing. I'm staying with Ohtani all the way. I don't care what the odds are. He's going to win the MVP unless Judge hits a really high home run mark that we haven't seen in a minute. And that might be the only thing that changes it. But otherwise, it's Ohtani's game.
Like, yeah, pretty much what he's doing. by the way.
Yeah. Well, that's true. Yeah, he is.
Like exactly what he's doing. So I looked at the odds. We're back into just fun land here. On DraftKings is just what I happen to pull up. Aaron Judge is the current favorite at -175, and Ohtani is now plus 350. So this is swung over the last week and a half, where you're getting 3.5 to 1 back on your odds on Ohtani because the struggles are real. The offensive output is kind of tapered back a little bit. Pitching has been okay, but you haven't seen the dominant performances. And it also, what I think is very interesting is it shows the market where Ohtani is the leader when he is doing unhuman-like things. When he has 4 straight games of 10 strikeouts, he immediately jumps back. But as soon as that goes away, as soon as he becomes human again and he struggles on any point, it immediately is going back to Judge. Now, where the vote ends up going is going to be really interesting. But for the first time, I do kind of wonder if Judge hits 60 and Ohtani keeps kind of struggling with this Angels team that's falling apart, would voters really turn it over at this point? Just out of I mentioned this very early on, because we just can't do it. We just can't keep giving it to this guy for the next 5 or 10 years. The odds, the odds have jumped. If you're still an Ohtani believer, 3.5 is a pretty good number that you guys can still get on if you would like to. And I'm a little bit curious. I'm gonna text Joe. We'll get a check in next week if he's turned anything about that. A couple other headline pieces. Edwin Diaz gets a 6-out save versus the Mets as they beat the Mets. They beat the Braves 6-4, and we had that note there yesterday about he could have the highest K per 9 in all of baseball, which is a bonkers number. And we've got a question or a thing that's going to come up here in just a tiny bit. Justin Verlander pitched 6 innings, giving up 0 runs, 2 hits, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. He reached the 130 innings mark, which triggered a $25 million player option for 2023. Govier, I was looking at a lot of just the pitcher numbers, and as I've done my redraft ranks here, one of the things that has stood out to me is I feel like I want to be weird about Verlander. I don't want to put him crazy high, but when you look at the 15 win total, the sub-2 ERA on the season, how high is Verlander as far as ranks go rest of season of SPs? You get Jacob deGrom back, him and Sandy Alcantara are the only 2 guys with the sub-2 ERA right now. Verlander, he's older, he's on a great team. It is obviously trustworthy, but where does he sit on the pantheon of other SPs right now?
Coming out of the All-Star gate there in the second half, I did some show. I can't remember what it is. I am so busy. I have so many shows to do, guys. Sorry, I can't remember where I was. But there was talk about, hey, Verlander, is this a fluke? Was this real? Are you fading him in the second half? And I was buying him all the way back to the preseason. I didn't get enough shares because his stock started to really rise too quickly, and I was like, I was getting a little too high. But when he was around ADP 100 early in the draft season, I was all for it because as a Tigers fan, I've seen this guy and his mechanics and his delivery, and they're so effortless. They're so smooth that even though, yes, he's 39, he's coming off TJ, I wasn't worried about it, Chris. I really wasn't, because this guy takes care of himself too, and due to those natural mechanics, I just felt that the way things are now, you could pitch into your 40s, and it's happened in the past. Nolan Ryan was a fluke, obviously, but I'm buying Verlander all day long. I'm not fading him, and I think he's right there, top 12 starting pitcher rest of season. The Astros are competing big time. World Series aspirations, they need him. He wants those opportunities. He's always been a clutch pitcher. I loved when he would destroy the Yankees back in the day when he was a Tiger in the playoffs. Those were some of my favorite moments ever.
Yeah. Used to be.
Yeah, he's amazing. So I'm all about it. Top 12 easy.
Yeah, and the better way to have asked that question is really where does he sit? That would have been a better way for me to phrase it, because it's obviously we're in and everything like that. It's just when I was doing my ranks, you've got your top 2 tiers, which I think equate to roughly your top 10 overall SPs. But the grouping I have him in is out. You know what? Let's do this real quick. Let's see if you can do it really quick. Alcantara, DeGrom, Otani, Scherzer, and Verlander. Those are 5. I have those 5 in a grouping. How would you rank those? I actually just gave everybody that is my current setup before I've released my redraft rank update. But Alcantara, DeGrom, Otani, Scherzer, Verlander. That is my 5 of that grouping. How would you rank those?
Ooh, Alcantara. I think I'm going Alcantara 1.
Okay.
He's my guy. He's even more my guy now. I'll start saying everyone's my guy by the end of the show. It'll be kind of ridiculous. There'll be nobody left. But it's Alcantara, Scherzer, Otani, DeGrom, and then I think Verlander there.
And Verlander, 15 wins, currently over on the betting odds here too. He is the lead over McClanahan, and it's minus 130 for Cy Young. Plus 200, so 2-1 with Shane McClanahan. The more that I look at it, you have a sub. I don't think anything else matters, Caper 9, anything. If you have close to 20 wins and you've got a sub 2 ERA, you're just going to take it home, and that's where he's at. So, Joe is going to be absolutely unreal. Thank God he's not here to have to listen to that. Fun thing in the NL, the gap is quite a bit larger. Alcantara minus 230 with Burns at plus 750, so 7.5. Wow. So that has been all but locked up as far as the betting market goes. Some injuries.
That's crazy. Are we that against Burns? Like, Burns fallen that much this year? I mean, I know he hasn't been as dominant as he was recently, but he's still really good, isn't he? I mean,
but I don't. That's not a marker of him not being good. It's just a dictation that Alcantara is so much better than everybody else in the NL that it's not remotely close. As far as the top 10 pitchers on ERA, you've got 4 coming from the NL, and number 2 is Alcantara with a 1.88 ERA. Corbin Burns has got a 2.49. Burns doesn't have the wins Alcantara does. He doesn't have close to the innings. What he does have is the strikeouts. So you have a 2.5 ERA with the strikeouts, but Alcantara's in the double. He's got double digits on the wins, and he's got a supreme ERA. 4.2 WAR, I think, which is highest of any pitcher currently. Is
double digits.
Double digits. And Corbin Burns a 3. So he's almost got a 1.5 higher WAR than him. So that's why the market is just so done and over, and it's Alcantara big time. Injury front, Kyle Tucker was scratched from Thursday's lineup, speaking of the Astros, with an illness, but he should be returning this weekend. Actually, I'm going to get this one out of the way. Cole Calhoun, 10-day out, fine. Clayton Kershaw left Thursday's start in the 5th inning with back tightness. He's going to undergo tests on Friday. LVA, the trade deadlines for fantasy might just still be looming. Can you trust Clayton Kershaw for the rest of this year? Would you be in any way okay to buy? And if you owned, would you be getting out as quick as possible?
Yes, out. Don't want him. Don't have him. I don't have a single share. I don't roster him in any league. I can't trust him. He's been all right. He does what he does still. But the injury, especially when you hear the back, Chris, that's bad news. We know the back history with that man in LA. So I'm not wanting to do anything with him, especially down the stretch. I try to sell. If someone is like, hey, I believe in him, go make a move, even if it's half price. Get out of it now. If you're in a head-to-head situation where you need to lock in a roster to make a playoff push, I don't think you could trust Kershaw right now. He won't be there for you. And you're going to need pitchers that you can rely on post-trade deadline because there'll be no more moves for you to make. You'll only be able to rely on the waiver wire. Depending how big or small your league is, it could be difficult to find someone that's going to be useful.
What's going to be really interesting is if this team, A, decides to go to a 6-man rotation. That's what I'm going to be really curious about. They're going to go back to stretching them out. And B, if Kershaw is out, what is the full move that they do? Because you have Dustin May, who's getting close. Dustin May, I think, is going to have 2 rehab starts more. I don't know if he's going to go full games. I think they would limit his innings the rest of this year coming off of TJ. You've got Walker Buehler that is in the wings here a little bit. And then you've got Bobby Miller. Bobby Miller, top prospect they ended up not trading, who has been phenomenal this year. I do think in the short term, Bobby Miller could be an option as I'm looking through this, because Dustin May is probably still a week and a half before he comes back, and Buehler's a little bit more. But when you get those guys back healthy, I think this team moves to a 6-man rotation, Buehler on the back end, and Dustin May plays a bullpen role, and what you could do is they could piggyback and they could limit Kershaw's innings, or they could just hold him back a little bit. So I still have some trust in Kershaw, but it's not in that I'm going to get full big deep games where I'm going to get a bunch of starts the rest of the way through. I think it's going to be relatively short term, but I think the Dodgers are going to start manipulating on the back half of the year to make sure everything's okay, because they have so much depth. Like I said, you literally have what team wouldn't kill to get Walker Buehler, Dustin May, and Bobby Miller into a rotation? And these are like, at this point, would be 6, 7, and 8 for them. So
can we trust Buehler though? Or are you confident that he's going to be ready to roll?
No. But see, that's the thing. Is I think with all of these guys, they're going to eat. They're going to eat each other up. Like Buehler, you don't want to go and have 100, inning pitch games. You don't want to 100 pitch games. You don't want to have Dustin May go deep. You're probably not going to want to have Kershaw go deep. So I think you could have guys piggybacking on each other, 6-man rotation to lower them. They're just going to monopolize each other, which is the problem. So could you maximize it? If you were in a league that had like maybe minimal starts per week or minimal innings per week, I actually think that Kershaw could still have some value in that if you're in that limit when he's out there. But the problem is I just don't know how trustworthy it's going to be. And he's not a trade for. I don't know if I would completely trade off of just for like 70 cents on the dollar, but I would look to move off of him. But you're going to probably have to wait till he returns, and that's the trick here. He might
playoff or bust.
Trade deadlines are done.
Yeah, exactly. Playoffs or bust for the Dodgers.
Yeah. I got a trivia question, and I'm going to throw it out to everybody, and then we're going to keep moving here. So talking about this ERA run, 2 players currently in Major League Baseball, qualified pitchers, have an under 2 ERA. One of those is as old as me, 39 years old. Here's your trivia question. Who are the only pitchers in the AL/NL modern era since 1990 to post an ERA under 2 that qualifies for the league lead at the age 39 or older? That's weird how they said that. At age 39 or older. I will give you guys the answer here in a little bit. Govia, you can't answer because he has the sheet. But again, the question is just since 2000, 39 years or older, who has had a sub-2 ERA? There are 2 pitchers that qualify on that. Justin Verlander is doing it currently. He will not qualify for this answer. Love to know what you guys think, and I will give you all of those. This day in baseball, 1929, radio station KDKA and announcer Harold Arlen provided the first broadcast of a major league game ever. First broadcast, 1929. Do you ever get like where I see him, like your brain just fries? You're like, oh, they were broadcasting games in 1921? Like, I can't even fathom the broadcast.
Okay, Welsh, I would help you out here because you said 1929 twice. Just to be clear.
1921.
Okay, that's what I thought. All right, want to be clear.
Yeah, 1921. I apologize. Either way, in the 1920s, the thought of anybody like sitting in there like, and there it gets to the bat, oh, they hits it. Like the thought of like the old timey radio with baseball, I can't like mentally.
100 years. That's so cool. KDKA was always something that stood in my mind because it was the first radio station that went live, period. And yeah, it was the station at the time, and baseball was on it. And people were sitting in like no air conditioning. There was no minimal amenities. It was dusty. Oh man, wow!
Wasn't this right around Prohibition too? It was probably no.
Oh yeah, it was even. Yeah, we got bootlegging. We got Shia LaBeouf and Tom Hardy and his boys running liquor across Virginia lines back in the day.
Yeah, Philly and Murphy over on across the pond with the Peaky Blinders. Oh, Peaky freaking. We do. Yeah, no, it just. When you get into the 20s, like thinking of all of that stuff, like I love that they would all wear like suits. It would be something that you would be like really important. Like we're on like a live broadcast for a big corporation talking fantasy and wearing t-shirts and hoodies, and like they would go to just a baseball game and they're wearing suits and cummerbunds and they're just like, well, welcome to the game. Welcome to the game.
Listen here, Shay. Yeah.
Yeah. We did have one person get one of the answers correct, and let's see. That was Wonky. Wonky came in. Roger Clemens is one of them. He had a 1.87 ERA in 2005 at the age of 42. But I don't see anybody. There's some good guesses in here. You got Satchel Paige, which was in there. No, this is since 1990. I'm sorry, 1900. 1900. If I said, I've been this last couple days, I've been such a mush mouth of just jumbling words, but 1900. So it's
okay,
really
I love you, but you said 1990 the first time.
well, I'll give people a little bit more here. 1900. So it's I won't give you quite the answer. Yeah, you got a little bit longer, but I mean, the truth, you're going a little bit deeper. So obviously I screwed that up. But you had R.A. Dickey guesses, Kershaw. So 1900s was the full one, and we'll come back to it. Let's go through some stat heroes. Clayton Kershaw, he went 6, struck out 5, giving up only, I'm sorry, Justin Verlander. Kershaw's in my brain. I'm telling you, dude. Yesterday I called Mayor Nate. I did this on our secret show. I jumbled every single word to another degree. I'm going to slow it down. Justin Verlander, 6 innings, 5 strikeouts. Jose Quintana, who I really liked yesterday as a play, went 6, gave up 1 earned run, struck out 7. We had Nick Pollock on yesterday, and he did tweet out that he was a little worried about where that changeup was going and all over the place. Maybe something that the Cardinals can continuously work through, but that was someone I really liked. Jeffrey Springs, 6 innings, 6 strikeouts, and I believe he was one of the top K props on the market. I think it was 4.5, and he got to 6. Sonny Gray struck out 5 in 5 innings, and Chris Bubich 6 with 6 strikeouts, 2 earned runs, 4 hits. Govier, what was your favorite move of the trade deadline for pitchers? Did you love Quintana? Did you love Mahle? I mean, there were a lot of really good moves as far as fantasy value. Quintana was one of those really sneaky ones in my mind, and I think he's going to be a really good cheap play. Of all of them, he's one of them that's actually like out there and available, I think, for some people in leagues. But what was your favorite impactful fantasy pitcher move from the deadline?
When Quintana was moved from the Pirates to the Cardinals, I thought, boy, that's underwhelming because I wasn't buying Quintana this year. I've had a lot of people DM me, hit me up, hey, Quintana, should I pick him up? Should I roll with this? And I just was like, what? No, this isn't real. I don't like what I know. When he was a Pirate, I didn't believe it. But now that he's a Cardinal, the Cardinals, they get a lot out of their pitching, especially their starting pitching most of the time. Jordan Hicks has had injuries. There's always exceptions. But gosh, that's not my favorite deal, but maybe it is going to be the most under the radar. Hey, that's a smooth move, because when I was on the trade deadline show that you were on the other day with Joe Orico for Sports Ethos, there was a lot of talk about, oh boy, the Cardinals really are not doing much here. It would seem like it was, and that was right before the Jordan Montgomery trade, just to be clear, to give you a chronological view of what was happening. But I think I think the best pitcher trade, or the most enjoyable one, the most intriguing one that I find interesting, is probably Raisel Iglesias to Atlanta, because I did not see that one coming, particularly to Atlanta, because AJ Minter, for the most part, has been really, really good this year. I know Kenley Jansen's been up and down. He said that the heart thing was there too. It's always going to be there. And they've got a lot of arms in that pen that they can rely on. But if Raisel is not closing, will he be happy? Because Mike Curlin pointed this out to me after the deadline. Raisel had been verbal in the past about the fact that he didn't like not being the closer, and if he's not in a headspace where it's good for him, that's going to be a waste of time for the Braves. So I find that to be the most interesting and intriguing one, that one I'll be watching the most.
Quintana had 10 swing and misses in that one of the 2 doubleheaders. I kept getting screwed up. I was looking at the matchups. I forgot they had the doubleheader yesterday in our infamous battle of home run calls bullcrap we had yesterday. But Quintana had 10 swing and misses, a beautiful 43% whiff rate on the curveball yesterday, 24 on the fastball. He had an uptick of almost a mile per hour on the fastball and the sinker, and he registered only one of his pitches over a 30 CSW, but it was the curveball, which he threw 31% of the time. So really hitting his points. Great defense, offense behind him. Quintana is just a great second half guy that's cheaper than any of the other big names like Mahle and stuff. They're not out there. I'm going to give the answer before I get too far ahead, since I had screwed up. Oh, and I see someone got it right here. Sabo's Goggles got it. Cy Young. That is correct. The 2 modern era. I did say that when I originally said it, but then I screwed up and said 1990. But the modern era of pitchers with an under 2 ERA that are 39 years or older. Cy Young had a 1.99 ERA in 1907 at 40. And a 1.26 at 1908 at 41 years old. So Cy Young, Roger Clemens, your answers to that trivia question. So good job to everybody that was able to get that. That is very, very deep.
Chris Sable went to Michigan, by the way. That's why I was doing this. So
okay, I forgot you're a Michigan guy. On the hitters, the big positive hitter front show. Ohtani, we talked about. He had 2 bombs, going 3 for 5. Ryan McMahon had a homer with 5 RBI. Seth Brown 2 for 2 with a homer. Tyler Naquin now with the Mets. He had 2 homers, 2 RBIs.
Yes.
They're getting a lot out of their new acquisitions in Vogelbach and Naquin. I was very critical of like everything that they were willing to do and trying to do, and then it was kind of a whimper of Vogelbach and Taylor Naquin. But they're getting a lot out of these guys right now.
You will be mistaken, my friend. Tyler Naquin is going to be that move that is not that big, but it's going to be so clutch. I see him already as a series MVP. Seriously, he's going to be the NLCS MVP. He'll come out and do what he does because he's so streaky, and when he gets rolling, he can mash the ball. And he might usurp a job there flat out. I know Eduardo Escobar is going to have his role reduced a bit here. There's opportunity for Naquin to just be a starter. I actually held on to him in a 12-team league. Despite the trade, even though I was bummed when I initially saw the deal, I thought about it and I said, you know what? I like this offense. I like Naquin. I'm not bailing here. So I'm hanging in there, and I think you guys would be wise to do the same.
Good stuff. On the couple other big positives, Ramon Laureano didn't get traded at a homer, 4 RBIs. Brandon Lau had a bomb with 3 RBIs. Hoskins, homer. Salvi, homer. Maldonado, homer. Some stat zeros. Kyle Wright gave up 4 homers, unfortunately. 6 earned runs in his last start. Joe Musgrove, big extension, not big output. 4 2/3, 6 earned runs, 6 strikeouts. Jason Junk got lit up. Espino lit up, 5 earned runs. Paul Blackburn, I know Mike Mayer, wherever he is right now, is excited. 4 earned runs and 5, and Plesac as well. On the hitter front, Seiya Suzuki in the doubleheader had 4 strikeouts, going 1 for 7. Trent Grisham, Matt Chapman, Happ, Scope, Yelich, and Tim Anderson, all with 3 strikeouts. Tim Anderson with an 0 for 5 performance. No bueno. Hey, friends, how about some home run calls and an updated home run leaderboard? Bam, right there. That is what I was talking about yesterday. We have got a race going. Would you look at that? Deep Blum and High Cubby with 37 bombs tied at the top. Night King of the North, 36. Mike Mayer is right on their tails. You've got a whole bunch of other guys in here that are chomping, just biting at the ankles, trying to get up on the board. But yesterday was the slow day. I think we only had one person on the front here board actually get a homer, Trey Turner. I was incorrect, but, you know, what the hell did I even have yesterday after all that stupid Cardinal drama of can't do double header, da-da-da. So I went with Matt Olson. He didn't hit anything, even though Goldie did hit one. But what does that matter? Because our dear friend Nick Pollock nailed it with Mookie Betts. So we got that on the board. So good luck today with your home run calls. Let's do a few little bets here, Govier, and I'm going to throw some out. Tell me if you like any of them here. This is by our friends over at BetMGM, which, yes, you guys can see it right below. If you use the promo code leading off right over, it's like under Govier. Just go check them out. Under leading off, use a promo code. You can get a $1,000 free risk-free bet over at BetMGM, and they got some pretty good odds over there as well on a lot of their props. So go and check them out today. Download the app, go to the website. Doesn't matter. Just use promo code leading off. The top 2 bets on the Betting Pros cheat sheet. If you guys go and go to bettingpros.com, check out the MLB prop cheat sheet, which I think even if you don't use it, it is such a cool tool because it's going to identify their projectional differences that you can then go and study. I've been saying that for a long time, but their top 2 bets of the day for total bases, Mookie Betts, they've got at 1.5. On DraftKings, it's a little bit, not a ton of juice. It's almost even money, minus 115. They got it projected over 3. Mookie Betts, total bases, who was our home run call yesterday. And Ian Anderson on strikeouts, but it's because it's low. It's only 3.5 versus the Mets, and it's minus 110 on DraftKings. He's projected at 5. My 2 that I dig, but I got to tell you, I am ice cold. I could not be cold. I am Bobby Drake. I am the Iceman. Just go against me. You should. For the last 2 weeks, I could not be colder. Horrible decision. Just bet against me, and maybe you're going to play out. I don't know when it'll change. Maybe it's today. It was not yesterday, outside of the Goldie home run call. Tyler Mahle, I like on strikeouts. He is at 5.5. They project him just a tiny bit over, but it's big plus money at 120 with his new team with Minnesota going up against Toronto, which can get strikeout happy. And then I like the Schwarbs. Kyle Schwarber, total bases is also plus money today. These are both on the Sugar House. Going up against Josiah Gray, he's leading off, projected 3 total bases, 1.5. Those are my 2 favorites, Schwarber and Malley. You saw the other 2 from Betting Pros. What do you think, Michael? Are any of these you dig?
Yeah, I like the Ian Anderson call because I think he's going to be much better in the second half. We saw a nice performance recently. I think he had 9 Ks in that outing where it was like, oh, wow, look at that. He mixed more of he changed up his pitch mix a bit. And I was like, okay, this is good. Because I've been hoping that Ian Anderson would stay true to himself from last year. He was not a dominant strikeout pitcher last year. I think he was a hair under 9 Ks per 9. But I like that prop. I'm all about that. Let's do it.
Okay. Do that one. Donnie, I can promise you, next week, the Princess Tiara will return. I don't have Joe's crown. My Princess Tiara is here. Not in the mood to do it today, but I will bring it back next week. I promise Wonky as well. And at the end, I'm going to tell you we got the schedule up for next week of all of our great guests. We're going to get into more of a regular schedule for everybody. But the Princess Tiara will return, Donnie. So don't you worry, my friend.
Thank God.
Thank God, right? Oof, quick DFS stuff. Just letting you guys know some interesting numbers. Framber Valdez 9.9 on DK. Eric Lauer 8,000 and Tyler Malley 8.7 if you're looking for some pitchers. On FanDuel, Framber is 10.4, Eric Lauer is 9.7, and the only implied run totals over 5 today. You got 3 teams, Philly, Houston, and Milwaukee, if you want to take advantage. Are you a big DFS guy? I never remember, Govier. Are you DFS?
Well, actually, I'll be doing like daily picks for baseball props on FTN. So that's going to be something I'll be doing on the reg, which I haven't been posting publicly, but I do dabble a bit. But I was DFS heavy last year, learned a lot of harsh lessons. I even paid like a $200 subscription for some website. I was so I'm like, all right, I'm going to pay this and I'm going to be the DFS master. And there was one night I remember very much in particular. Alex Kirilloff and Alejandro Kirk, this was last year when they were still playing in Dunedin, the Blue Jays. And they each had double dong nights, and I started both of them, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is my big moment!" I played in like a bigger.
I'm alive.
I know. I was playing in a bigger GPP too. I could have won like a $30,000 prize, and I still didn't even place. It was very sad. And that's how I remember my DFS experience. Baseball is brutal. DFS, big NFL DFS guy, but baseball, it's a lot more challenging in my opinion.
It's a rough go. Home run calls for the night. Oh, would you look at this, Mayor? Me and him are on the same one. I want to point out to the crowd that I put my home run call before him. I'm going with Kyle Schwarber today, who I talked about. Got a couple bombs as far as history goes. More at bats at the leadoff spot. Gimme Kyle Schwarber, and Mike Mayer is doing the same thing. Not that I was going to catch him. I, though, did pick up 2 homers this week. The wonkiest of Penguins is going with Jordan Alvarez. Michael Govier, do you have a home run call today? We did have two of the 4 guests this week, I think, have had and hit home run calls. So would you like to make it an over 500 for the guest spot this week?
I absolutely would love to make a home run call here. And that's fly ball, deep left field. This one is gone. See, there's my home run call. I'm hilarious. But funny. How about, I know. I don't know how I do it. It's incredible. I'm going with Patrick Wisdom today against the returning Edward Cabrera, coming off the IL. First start. Is he healthy? Will he be good? Max Meyer only lasted 10 pitches, so we'll see. But I think at Wrigley, I don't know how much the wind is blowing. I would like to know that. But that's my call. Patty Wisdom, he crushes the baseball, and he's going to go Yambo today.
I think Cabrera had some personal issues that he was gone as well. Michael Govier on Twitter, MJ Govier. Any last things to plug? Like I said, you're going to be over at FTN coming here now, so probably just follow the Twitter. You can check out the Palazzo podcast. Anything else to plug?
Yeah, we got a free Discord. It's fun too. You guys have home run calls. That's a great idea. I wish I had thought of that myself, but we still have a lot of fun. We do have a channel dedicated exclusively to the movie Heat. Also a movie I was just so stupid. We also have a channel exclusively for people who love Russell Crowe. So there's also baseball stuff mixed into the Discord. It's free. Check it out. It's all pinned at the top of the Plaza Podcast Twitter handle. 2 L's, 2 Z's. That's how you know how to find it. And yes, FTN Network, I'm going strong. There'll be some football stuff tonight too. Me and Vlad Sedler are doing a live football thing tonight at 11:30 p.m. If you're interested in the football side of things, Beat the Gut tonight at 11:30.
There you go. Fun stuff. Friends, I'm going to go reset my brain for the week. Unbelievable. I mean, we started pretty strong, and then my brain just shut down at the back half of the week. But we are going to reset, and we got a strong one coming up next week. We've got Wonky back. I think Kelly is going to be on pretty much all Wednesdays. Bubba is going to be my Tuesday guy. We got a couple new faces in there. Chris Clegg, I think, is our Friday guy. He'll be coming on. Schefter, who I've actually never even chatted with, will be on Monday. And David Mendelson, Mindy, is going to be on with me on Thursday. Not the regular schedule, but we're going to get into a regular schedule next week with a bunch of great guests. So hopefully you guys are going to come and hang out. Thank you for putting up with me all week. I think this is week 1 in the books without Joe Pisapia. But hopefully I did you right outside of my brain completely shutting down. Friends, have a fantastic weekend. We'll be back next week to do it all over again. It's leading off. That's Govier. I'm Welsh.